This video is not about how to save money on a gluten-free budget, but rather how much you can actually expect to spend on a gluten-free budget. I was budgeting or trying to budget a few months ago, but I could not find a specific number for the cost of a gluten-free budget because I knew that a gluten-free budget costed more than a regular budget, and specifically a cost of a gluten-free budget in the state of California where I live, because I know that California is more expensive than other states. After doing some digging and doing my own research, the state of Missouri came through with the answer, and I'm going to share with you how you can know by state what you can expect to spend on a gluten-free budget or even a not gluten-free budget. What's up, Tuba Yuba? I'm Jordan, your friendly neighborhood celiac. When I was first searching for how much you would expect to spend on a gluten-free budget, I came across a lot of searches that just told me how much more gluten-free food costs than gluten-containing food, which is not exactly what I was looking for. In case you're curious, on average, gluten-free food costs 242% more than its gluten-containing counterparts. That's literally almost 3.5 times more expensive. And in this case, we're talking about things like gluten-free bread, where bread would normally be made with gluten, but when you make bread gluten-free, it costs 3.5 times more. Thankfully, we're not talking about things like produce or rice, because that costs the same whether you're gluten-free or not. And I feel like it would be mean if they made gluten-free people pay 3.5 times more for produce just because they're gluten-free. Also in my research, I came across a lot of articles that talked about how to save money on a gluten-free budget, which I think is valuable information, but again, wasn't quite what I was looking for. But if you're looking for that kind of information, just Google how to save money on a gluten-free diet, and there are literally hundreds of articles that directly answer that question, so you are not without help, my friends. I finally did come across some useful information. On average, I found that a gluten-free diet will cost you 17 to 30% more when compared to a diet with no dietary restrictions. So to put that in context, the United States Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, says that the national average grocery cost for a two-person family in the United States is $640. At 30% more for a gluten-free diet, that same two-person family per month is going to spend $831 instead of that $640, because the gluten-free diet can be up to 30% more expensive. So boom, we got part of the information that we're looking for, but it's not everything, because there are other factors that impact your budget. And again, that's a national average. States are more or less expensive than the national average when it comes to groceries. So on to part 2 of our journey. I found the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, and the Mint Budget app, not Mint Mobile that's owned by Ryan Reynolds, or Mint that is used for food, but the Mint Budgeting app provided some useful information about other factors that impact your budget. So the USDA actually publishes monthly reports that show the price of groceries over time and the impact that that has on national average monthly budgets. The numbers I'm referring to in this video happen to be from September 2020. This video is being recorded in May of 2021, but the difference between September of last year and May of this year is only a few dollars, so it's not really that big of a difference. If you look at one of these reports from the USDA, you can see how much groceries cost per month or per week based on age, based on the number of people in your household, and also based on 4 different budget plan types that talk about generally how much money you're trying to save or willing to spend in your budget. So thrifty is the lowest budget plan type, the people that are trying to save the most money when they're budgeting, and then low cost, moderate cost, and liberal or generous, whatever you want to call the one that is the most expensive. And you can see that between the thrifty plan at $402 and the liberal plan at $800, there's almost a $400 difference per month between those two. So you can save a lot of money by trying to be thrifty each month. And I know there are some people out there that can spend even less money per month than this $400 listed in the thrifty category. And I know there are people that spend more than $800 listed in the liberal or generous category. But these numbers are just averages. We're just talking about average benchmarks that you can use to see how you're doing with your budget. I'm not saying these are absolute numbers. You know, when I'm sharing screenshots of USDA reports on this YouTube channel, we getting real crazy around here. Things heating up. So Mint lets you be a little bit more flexible in how you calculate your budget. So if we go to the Mint website, you can select the number of people in your family or in your household. You can select their ages, how often household members eat out, because the more often you eat out, the less you spend on groceries. Dietary needs, so you can pick gluten-free, meat-free, and then finally spending categories. So there's 4 same categories that the USDA has, just named a little bit differently by Mint. You'll notice that there is a difference between the USDA averages and the Mint budget averages. That's because the USDA is basing their averages on a specific set of food that meets the nutritional requirements as outlined by the government. Think back to that food pyramid that's from 20 years ago or so. So the USDA is basing its numbers on that pyramid, and Mint is not. So if you're not limiting your grocery budget to only healthy foods that would meet all of the nutritional requirements as set forth by the United States government, then Mint may be a little bit more accurate for you. I'm just using the USDA numbers in this YouTube video because I can. If you're finding this video helpful, I would super appreciate it if you would go ahead and give that little like button a tappity tap tap. You could even punch the like button, although that's probably one of the least effective ways to actually like a video on YouTube. So we have how much more a gluten-free budget costs, cha-ching. We have different factors like family members and ages of family members that impact your budget, cha-ching. But we still need how much it costs by state, and this is where the state of Missouri comes in and saves the day. On the state of Missouri's website, they have a cost of living index, which shows how the cost of living in each state compares to the national average cost of living. Missouri takes it one step farther and provides the cost of grocery index, which, as it sounds, compares the national average cost of groceries to the cost of groceries in each state. So by taking the national average cost of groceries and multiplying it by the cost of grocery index for your state, you can actually figure out, on average, what is the cost of a grocery budget in your specific state. If you go to glutenfreenecessity.com/budget, I've created a table that lists all 50 states from least expensive to most expensive groceries as compared to the national average. And there you can figure out how much you can expect to spend in your state, whether or not you're gluten-free. This works for all people, gluten eaters and gluten-free people alike. Not surprisingly, Hawaii has the most expensive groceries when compared to the national average, and Texas was the cheapest. California happens to be the 4th most expensive state. Maybe that's why a bunch of Californians are moving to Texas right now. I don't know. In the description, I have linked the website to those USDA monthly reports that are updated with the current cost of groceries. I have linked the Mint budget calculator and glutenfreenecessity.com/budget, where you can see what you can expect to spend in your state. That's it. Go forth and budget. Peace.